Hi, this is Melanie for the Pardesi channel. I'm here to discuss the exquisite film Masaan. Everyone who kept saying you have to see Masaan, it's been on my to-watch list for years probably, and I knew that it had made a splash at Cannes, the French Film Festival. The director got a debut director award. It really was one of those breakout Indian films. And it's not that long. I think it's only 2 hours, but I don't know. I don't know what it was. But now I've been on this Vicky Kaushal kick, and everyone's saying, well, if you like Vicky Kaushal, you have to see Masaan. Okay, they were all so right. The film has two parallel stories. The director of this film is Neeraj Ghaywan, and he's been assistant director things like Gangs of Wasseypur and so forth, but this seems to be the only full-length feature film that he has directed. I'm anxious to hear what other works he has in the pipeline because, my God, what a talent. Okay, and the script was written by Varun Grover, who is known as mostly as a lyricist. He wrote the lyrics for many of Anurag Kashyap's films, from Gangs of Wasseypur. He's writing on Sacred Games, which is on Netflix right now. He has this working relationship with Anurag. I think his company helped produce this film. What a gem of a movie. This is the kind of movie where I learned a lot. It has images and scenes that are going to stay with me probably my entire life. It's just one of those films that has such an impact. The film has been out a couple of years. If you have never seen it, I'm just telling you right now, it's on Netflix. Just go watch it. Just go watch it. It's only a couple of hours. Amazing performances, a really tight, amazing script, and just beautiful imagery. I'm going to talk about spoilers. So if you want to go in knowing nothing, stop here and just know it is the masterpiece everyone said it was. It lives up to the hype. The two stars are Vicky Kaushal and Richa Chadda. This was Vicky Kaushal's first lead role that he had. He had a part in Bombay Velvet, Anurag Kashyap's film. He was assistant director on Gangs of Wasseypur. So he was around, but this is his first lead. Wow, did he hit it out of the park. We start the film with Richa, who is I think she's a college student, and she goes on a bus journey and whatever, arrives at a hotel with a young man. They say they're married, and I'm like, this is how Western I am. I'm like, did I miss the wedding ceremony? The police break in, the hotel guy tips him off, and after this beautiful scene where she has this connection with this young man, then there's just all this violence, this police coming in, and the young man commits suicide. And wow, it was just from the beginning, this movie grabs you by the throat, and you're just so, it was so intense from the beginning. It's not like that at every moment, but wow, what a beginning. You just have this tender love scene, and then you just have this violence and chaos. I don't really, to me, that's one of the things that it's just so hard for me to comprehend, is the cops having this racket of framing people for indiscretion and demanding bribes to not ruin girls' reputations. Just like that whole thing, it's just like it boggles my mind, and just crazy. So her father is some sort of Sanskrit translator or professor. What a great actor. Sanjay Mishra, he just does kind of play a type of sort of a befuddled, put upon father. But you could see he loves his daughter, but it's just such a complex relationship. I love that. This was not the one note father-daughter kind of relationship I see in so many other Indian films. It was a relationship with complexity, There was issues from the past and how her mother had died. I mean, they just explored so much of this relationship. And the couple of final scenes in the film between the daughter and the father, how they cared for each other with food, just beautiful. Just small little moments that had so much meaning, and I loved it. So, completely separate story track. We have Vicky Kaushal, who was part of the community, who on the banks of the Ganges do all the cremation of bodies, and so they're the ones that handle the dead bodies and tend the fires and so forth. And I mean, there's an early scene of them, like, shouting to each other, "Smash that skull!" to really, like, it's quite graphic. And he's obviously of a lower caste, but trying to break out and be an engineer. And he falls for this girl, and the romance and the looks on his face, and just, oh, what a delight. Just seeing him fall in love and seeing all of this. And then when she questions where he lives, he just has this outburst where he tells her, "I'm of this caste." He's just so angry about it because he's sure that he's going to be rejected. I love the complex way that it was involved Facebook and whatever. It was very modern, and how he tried to connect. It was a beautiful scene of a declaration of interest and love by two matching red balloons at a fair. Just so many well written scenes that were at once so familiar and lovely, of showing young kids falling in love, and in another way showing it in unique ways that I hadn't necessarily seen before. So totally captivated by this whole romance. So those are like the basic setup. I won't go into all of the spoilers, but I will say, you wonder, how are these two stories? I kept thinking, oh, how they're gonna, I thought he was gonna have the love affair with Richa, and we're going through the film and they've not even ever met, and I couldn't imagine how this was all going to come together. And then the final scene is so amazing. They're both in a different city. The English title of this film is Fly Away Solo, which is Masaan means like the crematorium grounds, and I think that's a much better title. But anyway, he sees her crying, offers her water, and then he's like, "Have you ever seen the Sangam?" And they get on a boat and they go together and they're on the river. So then, of course, I looked up what that word means. It's both the name of a place, but it's the meeting of the rivers. And so, like, I guess in the river you can see the two different colors of the river and how they mix. And so, but it also carries another meaning, and that is a place where you can wash away your sins and essentially get a new beginning. And just the whole symbolism of that was so beautiful, and what it meant for those two characters and how they went on that final journey together. Just perfect writing. Wow. Okay, so here I'm contrasting. I'm doing two reviews tonight. If you can see, I have the same color shirt on. One is for The Great Father, where I was left in incandescent rage by this horrible script and what happened, certain things that happened in it. And this film, Masaan, also had trauma and very dark things and a child in peril at one point and so forth. And yet I was completely captivated. It all seemed realistic also, and just so true to these characters. And in a short amount of time, I got such insight, not only to these characters and their lives, but my mind was broadened with the symbolism in the film and me having to seek out more meaning of what was going on. And just, it was such a fulfilling experience for me. I'm kicking myself that it took me this long to finally watch this film. So I'm urging you, if you're all the way at the end here with all my spoilers, it's on Netflix. You just have to see it. And especially if you're a Vicky Kaushal fan, you've got to see it, because I'm not saying he hasn't done other fine performances, he has, but this one where you could just see his raw talent, and so good in this film. I'm so excited for Vicky that he is getting more and more films, getting more and more notice, because he is such a good actor. He really is, and he's just got that something. I was also very impressed with Richa. I thought she was playing a woman who at heart was not going to be beaten down by these labels. And she's just like, fine, I'm going to leave and I'm going to forge myself a new life and a new path. And I'm not going to be beaten down by all these things that have happened to me. And I really admired that. And I admired this male director and male scriptwriter for writing such a strong woman who goes through. There's also, so I mentioned Sanjay Mishra, who was great, but there was another small supporting role, and that is my new favorite character actor, Pankaj Tripathi, who plays one of her co-workers, Richa's co-workers at a train station. And he's so different in each role, and he was so delightful, and there's just such a touching little scene where he offers her some dessert, some kheer. He's such a great character actor. I loved this little role. It's like you think this guy is going to be a creep, and actually he's a little odd, but he has that inherent sweetness, I guess, like the kheer that he offers her. And I just loved that small little scene with them together. Anyway, such great acting in this film, but especially I admire the script and the cinematography. All of these beautiful shots on the River Ganges was just a beautiful film, just a gem. If you like this film review, please press that like button, share the video, follow us on Twitter at PardeziYT, subscribe to the Pardesi channel, and if you hit the bell, then you'll get a notification whenever I have a new film review or trailer reaction.